Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. I am one of your hosts, For Once on Hammer, and with me tonight are my other co-hosts, Terry D. Manda, say hello.
Hello.
And Jen T. Maxey, say hi.
Hello.
Usually the stream is reliable as far as the times we start, usually 9:01 or something like that, because it takes a lot of work to get the show going from a dead stop, even though it's all prepped ahead of time. But tonight was a little bit of duct tape before the stream started. Apparently, there's some kind of issue going on with Comcast, and it's not the let me turn this down a little bit. It's not the performance of my internet connection. It is a problem with something called DNS. I don't know how many people know what DNS is, but it's people can't remember websites by numbers, but the internet only knows website by numbers. So they created this service called domain name services. The domain name is the name of the website. So if you want to go to a domain name and you type in the, like StreamYard.com, the domain name server says StreamYard.com, that's this number over here, and it sends you over to it. That's what DNS does. Well, apparently, the DNS servers for Comcast were having some issues, and were sending me to random websites. And normally you'd think, okay, that's some kind of problem with my machine or something, like maybe I got like a virus or something like that, and it was misdirecting me, all that kind of stuff. And I've been a computer guy for a while. My machine's probably cleaner than most technicians are. I mean, I'm very, very clear about what I browse to and all that kind of stuff. I know my machine is very, very clean. So I was like, well, this is not my machine. What the hell's going on? I got on my phone did it too. I got on my server did it. I was like, this can't be me. This has got to be something wrong with Comcast. So I turned the cell information off on my phone, and I typed it in, and I got the same thing back. I was like, wait a minute, the cell service is bad. And then I realized I hadn't refreshed the screen. I just typed in the same name. So it used what was in cache and didn't actually try again. So I hit reload, and it came in nice and normal and clear. I was like, so it's got to be something to do with Comcast. So I went into my router, and my router was set, the DNS was set in my router for Comcast. So I changed the DNS on my router to Google. Google has their own DNS servers that you can use. They're perfectly fine. You can go grab and use them all you want. Their IP address is 8.8.4.4 and 8.8.8.8. Easy to change the number because they're only one digit each. And 10 seconds, and boom, I was back to normal. So I'm sure there's plenty of people who are calling up Comcast right now who are saying, I can't get the StreamYard, and have no clue what's going on. So hopefully
I bet
Comcast gets that straight. Not that, the average home user is hitting StreamYard very often, but if StreamYard was screwed, I can only imagine what else was screwed. So
yeah, man, it's just a reason.
But yes, I set up the stream late. I had gotten behind on other things that I was doing, and Terry was prompting me. It was like 20 of. I wanted to know where the hell I was and what I was doing. and I was like, oh, I forgot. I have all everything. I got to get the show up. So I ran into my computer room and started setting up the show. And I was still 5 minutes early. I've gotten the show down so pat to make sure everything's working, and like the sound works. You guys heard the music. Everyone can hear the guests. Everyone can hear me. Everything worked. And I did all that in 10 minutes. I'm pretty happy with myself personally. Anyway, it was fun for me, actually. Like, ooh, there's a problem and there's pressure and I have to get this done quickly. Oh boy. I know that's really weird, but it actually was kind of fun having things screwed up at the beginning. But why don't we go ahead and say hi to chat? Kiverdam, hello.
Hello.
Johnny Hellcat's out there. Hey, Johnny, our Thursday host. And who else do we got? Just the 18? That's good. Just the 18. Green Badger's out there.
I got distracted in my 2 seconds of sharing our stream. It's really amazing how Twitter is just like a brain worm like that,
Well, I was, like I said, I was caught off guard. I was like, oh, it's 20 of. I thought it was like 7:30. I was like, oh my God, it's 20 off when I started seeing. And the funny thing was, I was just browsing websites on my phone while I was making something to eat. And I got this notice on my phone that came up that says, you have 6 tweets. And I was like, well, 6 tweets? Who would be tweeting that much that I would get 6 tweets? So I went there and looked. I was like, oh, okay. Because it was you two talking to each other in a little group Twitter room.
Yeah.
We were preparing just in case.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think, to be honest with you, you would probably give us a heads up if something was wrong. But just in case, even if you were late, even if we started something, we could always just restart it.
What I need to do is I need to set a timer. Or no, not set a timer. Set an alarm on my phone for every Wednesday at 7 p.m. That way I won't get busy with something else and end up having to rush at the last moment. Like I said, it was fun, but that's not really what I should be doing. I should be researching the topics more. Although I do research them during the week. I got at least one in here that's just brand new, kind of. A couple days old.
Well, I appreciate that about you, because I've been in kind of brain zombie mode the last couple weeks, and yeah.
That's another thing is during the week, if something happens in Canada or Australia, you guys feel free to send me something, a tweet or something, so that I can incorporate it in the show. I don't want to make all this stuff all American stuff. It's not fair. So, we could hit on COVID camps and Canadian COVID passports and all that kind of stuff. But we've kind of run over that stuff before. But if something new comes up, just shoot me something before the show, and I'll make sure that goes into the liner notes. And,
the only new stuff I have on that I can say in like 2 minutes, and I blame Viva Fry, because yet again I shared our stream and Twitter was like, "Hello, Viva Fry," and basically he just mentioned that right now things are changing in the Maritimes. I wouldn't have known this if it wasn't for him. Like, it's just one of those things where across Canada we don't really talk to each other that much. We're kind of snotty. But New Brunswick is really kind of doubled down on the vaccine passports. Like, I have seen them here, like in certain restaurants, or if you go to the mall, they will call you on it. If you don't have your vaccines, you're not allowed to sit here. You have to go. But in New Brunswick, like, they're really shutting down the doors to even the grocery stores. Like, here, you can go grocery shopping. You just have to make sure you have a mask on. And yes, there's people who are like, yeah, fuck that shit. But, for the most part, they won't bother you about that kind of stuff at the grocery stores. You can keep your distance from people. And yeah, like I said, you put the mask on and most people leave you alone. I get why people don't like that, but it's better than having yourself being exiled from the grocery store because you've decided not to take the poke. That's really terrifying me. Like, I don't like seeing that. Like I said, I respect people's wishes when it comes to their own bodies. Maybe that's the part of me that's a little bit pro-choice, is the part where I do respect at the end of the day, it's still your body.
Well, yeah, pro-choice and body autonomy are 2 separate things for me. So
I know, me too. But it's one of those things where I'm trying to appeal to the crazy. That's
yeah. There's plenty of that out there.
Yeah,
but
no, I mean, you can be like, I'm fairly anti-abortion because it's your body, your choice, and the unborn child's body. I doubt they're consenting to being killed. So it's not.
Hey, listen, I've got a solution to that. I've never gotten pregnant.
That's yeah.
Okay.
You don't need an abortion if you don't get pregnant,
I guess.
Right? I know I'm slut shaming now, but
I'm almost afraid to ask Terry about COVID in Australia, because I don't want to hear any more news, because none of it's good. Anything new?
I mean, as far as my life is concerned, nothing has really changed since last time. There might be stuff happening, like all the drama around the camps in the Northern Territory and such, but for me, apparently it's like 3 days until the COVID restrictions get lifted here. Though I'll believe it when I see it.
So some
Well,
potential
it is
good news.
technically almost summer for you guys, isn't it?
It's summer, yeah.
Yeah, it is summer.
I'll take the baby steps.
Jelly.
Yeah. So
Jelly.
we'll talk about what Biden calls Omnicron. A little bit later, we'll get to that.
Can I say one thing? I'm
Shoot.
only interrupting because I'm super jelly of you right now, Terry. You do things in Celsius, right? I don't have to do
Yes.
conversions for you.
No,
So when
Celsius
I say
is-
okay, so when I say -7 is crap, -7 is crap.
yes. Well, if the number begins with minus, it's already terrible.
It's crap everywhere. Because your -7 is like our -3. So it's only when you get up in temperature that the numbers really diverge. But when you get down in temperature to anywhere around 40, and from 0 to 40 minus, they're pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You know.
No, if it starts with, I would say if it's a single digit number or less, I don't want to hear about it.
I've had my experiences. I actually, for as much as I've always said I want to go to Australia, I've actually been to Canada quite a few times. Not much of Canada, but I've been to the same place a good 6 or 7 times. I was just outside the Toronto airport, a town called Mississauga.
Okay, yeah,
Been there
not
plenty
bad.
of times.
Yeah, they're polite, nice people.
They are very polite, nice people. They really fit the whole American perspective of what Canada is like. Everyone there is just, you walk by somebody and you're just, oh, I'm so sorry. You get that whole very Canadian feel. People, almost all of them have a heavy enough accent that you can tell they're not Americans, because you hear plenty of A's and abouts and all that kind of stuff in that area. So yeah, I mean, but most of the time I was there, I was during the winter. And let me tell you, I live at elevation in Pennsylvania, and so everything here is 10 degrees colder than everything at sea level, and it gets to minus 15 or 20 degrees Fahrenheit here, which is like minus 9 or 10 Celsius, and then take another 10 degrees off because I'm at elevation, and it was still colder in Canada and it's ever been here. So I was up there once.
I can only tell you the secrets of my province so many times before I tell you the real reason why a lot of Canada kind of hates southern Alberta. Not so much Alberta, but southern Alberta in general. It is legit me bringing up this Chinook shit. Because we warm up every 2 weeks.
Well, I haven't felt anything quite like that. I was in a dress suit with just black dress socks on and a pair of, black wingtips and all that kind of stuff, and just a pair of underwear, no long johns or anything like that. And I got out of the airplane and took like 3 steps. I was like, well, okay. Because that went right up the legs of my pants and said hello to the rest of me. And I was like, that's cold.
Legit, no shit. If you bring in one of the Ontario folks, and right now if we were to compare weather, we'd be on the same track, because they're, for, like I said, for a couple weeks we're on the same track, and then they'll dip down to minus like 34, and I'll be sitting there going, guess what? It's +4. And that doesn't mean a lot to an American, but to a Canadian who's in minus 34, it's a lot.
+4 is like our 30 degrees or so. So no, it's higher. It's got to be above, because 0 for you is freezing. So 32 for us is freezing. So it's 4 for you. It's got to be like 38 or 39 for us. And I can exist in that temperature. Yeah. Being a hardy Pennsylvania person, I have no problem with cold weather. But this was the experience I had in Mississauga, not once but a couple of times, was that it had snowed and warmed up enough so that there was a certain amount of water in the ground, and then it froze. So the airplane couldn't pull into the hangar directly, so we can walk directly from the airplane into the airport. We had to walk on the tarmac, which was all ice and snow. Yeah. So and you guys are known for your wind, and it was windy. So the combination of the three really just, I'm cold now just thinking about it.
That's where Alberta will catch you. So like, we don't have the moisture of like the Maritimes. We don't have the moisture of Ontario, because Ontario has the Great Lakes. That does create quite a bit of moisture. Humidity plus cold goes to your bones. wind just freezes you to death. That's just all there is to it. Like there's no you take cover when there's wind. We will take a little bit of mercy on people when it comes to that. It's one of those things where like our train system is brutal, but even our train guys kind of get it when it comes to the homeless. Like even with me, like I'm there at like 3:30 in the morning. You know, I don't start my shifts until like sometimes it's a little bit later, like maybe it's 4:30. And there's homeless people. And I'm just like, you know what? I would do the same thing because the freezing cold up here, it will kill you. Yeah. But the moisture stuff, I don't like that stuff. You know why I don't like that stuff? Because it goes to your bone.
Yeah.
At least I know if I'm out for longer than 20 minutes, I'm just going to die. But like having it in your bones, like that stuff can stick with you for years. And yeah, it just fucks you up for life.
You don't really get that kind of cold in Australia, do you?
I think there's like the mountains where it's probably
Elevation.
fairly cold.
Yeah.
But I mean, where people generally live, I think it's not going to get below. It's not going to be below zero pretty much ever. I don't think I've ever been in sub-zero temperatures in Australia, only when I've gone overseas.
Yeah, I think if you see something that looks like snow, you guys are kind of thinking, is there a volcano going off? Because that's terrifying.
No, I've seen snow, but that's in the mountains. That's not in like the city.
Well, you can go skiing in the mountains. So I mean, there's got to be some kind of tourist thing where they have ski lifts and that kind of stuff up in the mountains.
Yeah. There's plenty of ski places. And yeah, I mean it's real snow. I mean, if they have unseasonably hot weather, they do have fake snow that they can put on. But no, it genuinely snows in the mountains. It's just no one lives there.
Yeah. Why live in where it's going to be cold, right? You're in a country that's basically warm. Why choose to live in Alaska? Yeah, I get it.
Basically.
It snowed here last night. When I woke up this morning, I looked outside and everything looked like a Pop-Tart. It had like a nice soft strip of snow on top of all the cars and all that kind of stuff. So
I generally want it to be 15 Celsius and above. Anything below that, it's like, no, this is too cold. I'm uncomfortable.
The only thing I have about Pennsylvania I don't like is that it's 9 months of cold here. I mean, it's only 3 months of winter, but spring and fall are still also very cold. Yeah, like most places south of here and more at sea level, fall is in the 60s and spring is in the 70s. But up here, it's 50s for both. So it's always cold, and then you get winter, which is -10, -20, and then you get well, that's Fahrenheit, but I mean, and then you get to summer, and summer. I don't know what the Fahrenheit translation here is because, like we said, when you get the positive temperature, there's a lot of divergence. But here I don't think we ever really hit 90.
I think 90 is about 30 thereabouts. From maybe a bit. Or am I getting it mixed up? Maybe 100 is 30. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably mid-20s to low 30s.
Yeah, so it never gets to 90. I mean, we have maybe 5 or 8 days, maybe in the high 80s.
Yeah.
So most of it's low 80s or high 70s in the middle of the summer.
90 Fahrenheit is 32 Celsius.
Oh.
So that is quite hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, up here we did actually manage to get up to 98 one day. Wow. And that's Fahrenheit.
I would hope so.
Yeah, that was Fahrenheit because I think it was like 42, 43.
Yeah, if it was Celsius, your blood would be like moments away from literally boiling.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's why I had to say that because like 90, yeah, because I did the conversion for that one because I knew it was that hot. It was that level of hot where it's like I feel like I'm in Las Vegas or something.
Yeah, that was one thing I did like about Vegas was it was hot. It was maybe a bit too hot on the days I was there, but still, I mean, I'd rather that than cold.
Yeah. I guess the thing for me is I'm a pretty big guy, 6'3", 227 this morning, and I find it easier to put on layers and get warm as opposed to it being hot here and having to rely on air conditioning. You can't even walk out of the house. Now, granted, like I said, it doesn't really get that hot here, but I have a house in Virginia too, and when I have to do something and go down there, not only is it hotter, 95, 98, but the moisture is, it's 60%, 70%. I mean, it's not Florida. You don't swim through the water, swim through the air like you do in Florida, but it makes it hotter because you can't evaporate water off your skin.
Yes.
So yeah, going down to do something like fixing something that broke or whatever, in Virginia becomes dreaded after a while. When it gets to be the summer, I'm like, you got problems? See me in the fall, man. I don't want to come down there.
I live near the beach, so humidity is a constant problem down here. It's like it's not only hot, but it's kind of that muggy feeling as well. It's like you're just dripping sweat.
Yeah, I mean, one of my friends, I actually spent time in Florida as well, but not too much time, and not specifically during the summer at any point. But I do have a couple of friends who live down there. And we get into kind of a jokes about how cold it is here and how hot it is there, talking about weather. And they often make the term, that's why I said it, they actually swim through the air down there. They tell me that they'll do wash and hang it out outside. And that night, they'll take it in and it's still wet.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. So for as much as Florida is like the bastion of freedom in the United States, at least right now, I don't think I could survive.
Yeah, they
there.
still have swamp ass. It's like my friend from there said, it's swamp ass.
So let's go ahead and get into some of the news. As you can tell, my voice is still not recovered from last week, but I'm doing better. So we have a couple of good ones. Soft bigotry is something I just saw on Twitter that I'll get into real quick. Elon Musk and his evaluation of Joe Biden is on the docket tonight, and what Biden calls the Omnicron virus. Omnicron. What an idiot! Omnicron virus.
Yes.
Omicron. And the latest craziness surrounding all that. A soft bigotry was actually a tweet. I got in this tweet earlier. It was just in text. And the text was, Oregon governor signs bill removing reading, writing, and math requirements for high school kids to help students of color. And Fam, everyone knows Satsu 2 cents. Fam 2 cents is the count. And he got on here and he quoted the text and said, this is ridiculous bullshit, da-da-da-da. And coming from Satsu, who's usually very centered, for him to be sound upset was like, dude, I got you. I understand exactly where you're coming from. This gets me angry. I'm not even a black person. It gets me angry. And I replied to him. I said, how much do you want to bet that this is a white female Democrat? And he didn't reply. Nobody replied. Nobody wanted to bet, I guess. Nobody wanted to reply to me. Someone else sent it out. And this time, they included the actual article. And sure enough, it's a white female Democrat.
Of course it is. Who else would it be?
The governor of Oregon. Her name is Kate. Oh, hell, I lost the page. Kate something or other. I looked it up and I lost the page. Whatever her last name is. But yeah, she's your typical malnourished white. You can look at her and say that's a Democrat. There's just something about Democratic women compared to Republican women. I just don't get it. Every time I look at a woman, I can say, well, that one's a Republican, that one's a Democrat. Because the Democrat women just don't know how to look like.
No, I think it's because the left is anti-gender role, whereas Republicans generally are for them. So
this could
Republican
be
women want to look like women.
yeah
And,
yeah they and embrace their femininity. This person could be a man with a wig on.
Yeah, there was a thing I saw on Twitter yesterday that I just blew off as being more Twitter nonsense. But yeah, there was this push for women in fashion lately to start growing in a female beard or like a
Yeah, I saw
female
that.
stash.
That is
You know,
stupid.
like to really change the gender roles. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not willing to do that because I'm not made to do that.
No,
This
don't do that.
fantasy
That
this
would be stupid.
fantasy that they want to live out for a group of people that are a minority is not going to work on the grand scale. You can push it on some people in North America because some people in North America are clearly retarded. Sorry, YouTube, but
It's
People in
no, but this governor, it does make sense. I mean, they've never wanted the slaves to learn how to read and write, so this is just keeping in line with that.
her name is Kate Brown.
but yeah,
Typically a black
Yeah.
person's surname. For some reason, white,
Mhm.
green, and brown. I don't know what the deal is with that, but apparently, yeah. So I called it. Ding, ding, ding. I got that one right.
Oh yeah.
So
There's no prize for getting that one correct.
no, there's a reason why nobody wanted to bet me. I guess that's the point. I'll see if I can find. I'm scrolling back. I'm really bad with Twitter. For a person who lives on it so much, whenever I want to find something, it's virtually impossible for me to find anything on Twitter. I just don't. I don't know. I just don't do that kind
That's
of thing.
why Monkey just retweets stuff if he knows he wants to talk about it on his show.
On the show, yeah. I should probably start doing that. Instead of retweeting it, you can probably bookmark it. Probably even more elegant to go that way, because I've done that before.
Yeah, because a lot of people will see retweets as endorsements.
Polly had
So if you retweet something, they'll say, "Wait, you agree with this idiot?" And yeah, that's probably grief you don't need in your life.
Polly had a AAA stream today.
Yep, I watched it beforehand.
Oh, you did?
Mhm.
I'm surprised anybody does.
Well, I called him out on it on Twitter in messages because I was like, he had a late ass stream because he was going until like 20 after 6 my time. So I think, yeah.
Well, do you know
20
what
after
else
8
is
your
going
time.
on? Monkey is streaming right now.
Yeah, I noticed that, but he always streams.
Yeah, but not at 9 p.m. He usually streams late or really early in the morning, like 5 a.m. in the morning, depending if he does his game stream first or not.
Hammer, I have to break it to you. The rule with Monkey is Monkey streams when Monkey wants to
when
stream.
Monkey wants to. But if you look at the actual average of times, he very rarely hits 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it's because he sleeps or he forgets.
Yeah. Well, I can't find the one that Satsu did, so I can't quote it. I've gone back.
Yeah, it was at least an hour ago since I last saw his. So, but yeah, he was pretty pissed. He was like, "So this is basically another example of the low expectations
Bigotry
of
of
the
low
left for
expectations.
Yeah.
You know that you just think that a certain population of the it's just.
I don't know if he coined it, but I heard that attributed to Cosby, the soft bigotry of low expectations thing.
Kay Schul's in chat.
Yeah.
Okay, Schul. Yes, I mean, we don't really have to get into it too much because it's just a tweet, but it's indicative and expected and typical for Democrats to not see black people as equals, even though they talk about tolerance. There was something. Did I bookmark it? I probably should pull this in too when we're speaking about this. Let me. How do I get to my bookmarks? Oh, there's an actual option that says bookmarks. Did I bookmark this?
Mm-hmm.
Nope, didn't bookmark it. There was. I guess it was yesterday, late yesterday. Somebody had a chart showing Democrats and Republicans on how they interact with each other. And
I saw that.
Yeah, it was
I
Shu.
Was that
Shu had that. Yeah, it was Shu on head.
Well, if if it was Shu, then more than likely she posted it on Getter. So let me jump on Getter and see if it's there.
Yeah, it was pretty depressing how college students feel about working with and for and purchasing of. And I'm like, you do realize how many of those products you've already been purchasing, right? You're
might
so
be
dumb.
might be talking about different things. It's not on my Twitter because she's banned me from Twitter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have her on Twitter. I can maybe find her.
But I do have
I might
TweetDeck, which has my personal. Oh, here it is. This is from Axios. College students who would not blank someone who voted for the opposing presidential candidate, and the blank is filled in with 4 options. Go on a date with. College students who would not go on a date with the opposite political party. Democrats 71%, Republicans 31%.
That one at least makes sense to me. Like, if you're going to date someone, you should probably have common values. And with the polarization in America at the moment, like, someone who voted opposite to you probably doesn't have much in common with you in terms of values. So I can see that one.
This just proves the polarization.
Yeah.
College students who would not shop at or support a business of. Democrats 41%. Democrats 41%. Republicans 7%.
Yeah, that's stupid. Just if they sell what you want to buy it.
College students who would not work for a Democrat versus Republican. 30% of Democrats would not work for a Republican boss. Republicans 7%.
How would you even? I mean, unless they talk about their politics at work,
I guess
shouldn't.
That's a no-no right there. But and here's the last one. This one cuts harder than all of them, I think, personally. College students who would not deal with somebody of the opposite political party. Democrats would not be friends with somebody 37% of the time. Republicans 5%.
And I'm going to blow all of that out of the water just based off of something that the quartering pointed out. And I'm just saying it because of what's going on with Dave Chappelle and Netflix, because they're bringing him back for that comedy festival that Will Wheaton's a little bit pissed off about. But here's the thing that they pointed out. The thing that he pointed out, all these really dumb college students are forgetting. So the Netflix guy, to be fair, their CEO is a lefty. I'm well aware of the fact that he's a lefty. But he's a lefty who still believes in freedom of speech. And that's where I can stand with him, at least in some regard. It's like, hey.
No, he's a lefty who believes in give me the money. If I show things that happen to further freedom of speech, don't care. Give me money and I'll do the things that make that keep happening.
But here's the point, though. Here's the point that the quartering pointed out. If Netflix went to them with like $1 million deal, all those kids would say yes.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever he believes in. Money does kind of talk.
Lefties believe in their own freedom of speech.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I replied to that fact that Will Wheaton didn't like Chappelle and what's happening there, and I did the obligatory Star Trek. Oh, just shut up, Wesley, because and that might be our first sounder. I'm gonna have to go back to the Star Trek episodes because I have them all on my computer, and clip that out, clip that out, and make it. I was thinking about getting an Elgato Stream Deck, and I'll make that my first sounder. So every time.
So I don't know if it's true or not, though. But Clownfish said that he left Twitter yesterday too.
Will Wheaton has been gone from Twitter for a while.
Okay, I don't know.
Really?
No, there was a whole thing about it years ago. He stormed off because of some silly thing or another.
But he must have come back, or else he wouldn't.
I guess.
His address is at Will W. WILW.
Yes, I was blocked by him for a while, and then he just left Twitter. And I'm like, oh, okay.
If you try to send him a message now, does it say you're still blocked? Because if you're blocked, his account exists. If they'll say no account if he's gone.
At Will W. Oh no, he is there. I'm just blocked.
Yeah.
Okay, so he didn't leave. Maybe he just had a huff.
I wonder if I'm blocked.
I guess he's
threatening to, and then like nobody called his bluff because let's be real, no one really cares about Will Wheaton.
No, but there was a whole thing where he left Twitter and he went to some other social media.
Yeah, platform. That I remember. Yeah, I remember hearing.
And then that ended up turning on him because he wasn't woke enough or some nonsense.
Everybody
So maybe he came back. I mean, apparently he's come back.
Well,
That's funny.
me,
That is funny.
at WILW. Yeah, see, it doesn't even show an account when I type that in.
So what I had to do was I did a search for Will W, but then like his account didn't come up, but other people replying to him did. So I went into their tweet and then clicked the at Will W when it said who they were replying to, and that's how I got onto his account.
Okay, well, let me try that. See, for as much as I use Twitter, I just talk and reply. I don't actually use the platform very much. So
Me neither. I use it to share. That is majority of my time spent on there because any shenanigans on there is not really worth my time.
If you can't find it, I put the link in chat. Just twitter.com/willw. So yeah, you can just go there. I'd say you're probably blocked.
I know I probably am because I
when
follow
did the
too many
search,
people that
it showed
I
up.
wouldn't doubt that he's probably got lists for people like me.
He does.
I am
He
not
absolutely
blocked.
does. Oh, cool.
Oh, there you
I'm
go.
not blocked on my main account, which means that I'm probably not blocked on my sock account, my personal account.
Yeah.
But the one-ton hammer account is not blocked.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I don't plan on talking to him because...
No, I have said exactly 0 things to Will Wheaton, and yet I still got blocked.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what happened with me and Shu. I must have been on a list or something like that she was using because I never said a word to the woman. Yeah, I'm blocked. And
Yeah.
it happened. Like I was like watching her tweets, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And maybe I'll just say something to her. Boink. And I was like, oh, wait, where'd she go? Blocked.
Did you see she has an account that says, if you think you've been blocked in error, just reply to this thread and I'll see about unblocking you. I forget what it's called. It was something like no one head or something like that.
That's funny. Well, it doesn't really matter because I could see her on my sock account, my personal account, and she, believe it or not, she's on Getter.
Yes.
So perfectly fine with me because there she can say what she wants, just like everyone else can. So anybody who's listening to
follow
this,
someone I don't follow because I know I see her tweets all the time, but
I follow Babylon Bee on Getter. Yeah. They talk so much that following them on Twitter is just overload for me. But because it's on a different platform, I can like, okay, this is Twitter over here and this is Getter over here. And and I'm not following very many people on Getter because there aren't many people on Getter. But I follow Terry and I follow Babylon Bee and a couple other people. I think Sydney Watson, Lauren Chen, a couple of people, but not many. Because I don't want to get overwhelmed there as well. But it was nice to be able to just say, oh yeah, I'll just follow you ahead. No big deal.
I'm not throwing him out there again just to shill for him, but I will anyway, just because he is a big YouTuber. But Jeremy's on there too.
Oh, the quartering, yeah.
Yeah, he's on there too. I really should sign up.
Right
I've just been. I'm not gonna lie. People watching. I got a job, so I've been lazy as fuck the last couple of weeks.
I assume he's at the quartering, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, he is.
There he is.
I'm actually only following 7 people, so I should find out who Hammer is following and follow most of them because.
Well, that's basically it. Babylon Bee. You can follow yourself if you want to. I just started following quartering right here, right now. Lauren Chen, Sydney Watson, and the Babylon Bee.
For the record, I do acknowledge that a lot of people don't necessarily like Jeremy, but I just acknowledge him because A, he's a big YouTuber, and B, he's pretty decent in terms of like YouTube people. Like he's not the best, but he's pretty decent. Like he'll help you out if you've been screwed over, he will try to help you out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I like Jeremy as well. I've seen him in a couple of interviews, and he is in the interview just like he is on a show. There's no different personality. He's the same guy, so he's genuine. So that was a +1.
I told him a lot a couple weeks ago that I kept trying to. I don't really pray. I'm not that kind of person. I don't really have those beliefs, but I was thinking about sending Canadian Winter to Kenosha for a weekend. And I was sincerely thinking that. I was like, listen, it doesn't work that way. No matter how hard I try to think Canadian Winter in your direction, it just doesn't work that way. But I did try.
I like him. I like what he says. Every once in a while, I'll have a really bad take. And it's like, well, everybody's got their bad takes. It's not a big deal. I just have a hard time with some of his content because it's like Tim Pool gets repetitive.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's what I've been saying the whole time.
I limit him to 1 or 2 videos. Like 'cause he is like that. Like it's like 8 or 9 videos. And that's how he does his grift. And
how much better would he be if he limited himself to 2 videos? Right?
Yeah.
Well, I think he needs to rake in the ad revenue. Like he can't afford to only make 2 videos because he's got people to feed.
I find that hard to believe because Tim Pool
Patreon money, I suppose.
Tim Pool makes how many? 2, 3 a day, maybe. I mean, look at Philly. What the fuck's his last name?
DeFranco.
DeFranco makes 1 video a day, and he's got a staff of like 16 people. You know,
I mean, do they have a lot more subscribers? I mean, Philly D's also got a lot more sponsorship opportunities.
He does. He does because he's on the right side of politics.
Yeah.
I mean, the quartering is slowly growing. I don't doubt that he could do that, but he'd have to structure himself a little bit differently. You know, like he'd have to make his scripts a little bit longer. Like he used to kind of do that with his streams. Like he used to do a stream and then just cut it up into videos. And I think he still kind of does, but he's formatted it different. And I think part of that has to do with his editors. But if he edited it differently, like, yeah, he could probably cover more than 1 story in 1 video. Like even do like a couple of them and get away with that. And you're not wrong. Like he could do just a little bit different structure. But like I think maybe he's waiting till he's got, I don't know.
But like, that's what Sargon does as well with his Lotus Eaters is he basically just takes the live stream from the lotuseaters.com and then chops that up into 20-minute videos.
Yeah.
The difference for me is that Jeremy will say the same thing repeatedly in his 8 videos.
Yeah.
Whereas each video by Sargon is on a completely separate subject. So it kind of makes more sense to have them as separate videos.
Yeah. I mean, he's not in trouble as far as making money. So if it's working, why change it? He might just be adverse to trying something different.
And here's the thing. I still watch a couple of his videos. Just because I don't watch all 8 doesn't mean that I don't still watch a couple of his videos. He's still a decent enough guy to want to watch. Do I agree with him on everything? No, because that's stupid. Don't agree with everybody on everything.
Well, I've always said if there's any single person that you agree with 100%, one of the 2 of you isn't thinking for yourself.
Right. But overall, I've seen him do a lot of decent stuff too. Like, has he always been in the right? Is he a little bit? Does he start a little bit of his own drama? Yeah, I think he does start a little bit of his own drama. I do believe he does that. But what YouTuber who's big doesn't do that?
He's a little too willing to pick a fight. You're right. But it's not like when he picks a fight, it's not legitimate. It may be not worth the fight, and he'll pick it anyway. But it's not because he doesn't have a point. It's just that the point really is, do you really need to do that? It gets that kind of response from me, you know? All right, they said this. It was a dicky thing to do. Just let it go, you know? But he can't let it go.
No.
There's a certain
amount. You've got to make 8 videos a day. No drama means no videos.
It's true. I see that from Monkey from time to time. He'll say, "Oh, this is going to make great content," you know. So.
But I mean, sometimes I don't mind that either. I mean, like, let's be real. There's been times where Ethan Klein has done shit things, and there's times where I don't mind when the quartering is calling him out because he has done some shit stuff. I wouldn't say anything about Keemstar because I've always pictured Keemstar as being a shithole. Sorry, Keemstar, but you've never not been a shitty person on the internet.
Therein lies the problem because he is kind of. I mean, his whole show, Drama Alert, is just the point of what it is. Where Ethan Klein tries to make it kind of like this, you know, this production, and he acts all innocent, but he is the
slimiest guy.
Man, oh
Yeah.
man, oh man. I knew
And
that he probably was going to be, because the first time I ever heard about him, it was out of Philly D's mouth. I was like, oh God, Philly D likes this guy. I don't know. And
But
sure enough, just about everybody's had a problem with him at one point or another. So
The only thing I know about Ethan Klein is that he was the guy who was the humongous, like he reported on the humongous thing back when that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say like that he's a complete shitbag now, it's kind of like that sucks, because the reason I heard of you was you doing a good thing and like raising awareness for this poor guy who was like berated for no reason by that cow Zana Joshi. And it's like it's sad to see that he's gone from where he was to where he is now.
Mm-hmm.
well, I think we had to be a little bit. She was looking to create a commotion. No two ways about that. But he gave her a little bit of a reason, because that was not his name. And we all know, we all wink at each other.
No.
We know what he was talking about and what his real last name would have been if he would have said it. He didn't say it, but he was going to say like humongous dick is what he was going to say. But he stopped at just saying humongous and just left it at that.
No. So his joke was that his first name was Hugh and his last name was Mungus.
Right.
Like that was the joke. Like
right.
Hugh Mungus.
Right.
And like you can decide for yourself whether he was referring to his dick or his belly, because he insists he was talking about his big fat gut, which, you know, whether you believe him or not.
No. I don't believe him for a second.
But the joke was Hugh is his first name, Mungus is his surname. There was no third name to come. It was just Hugh Mungus.
Yeah. Yeah. But all right. I mean, I still think that he could have just said Hugh.
He baited her a bit. He did bait her.
Hugh Jass or something like that would have been better. But humongous was. That's why she said humongous what? Humongous what? That's what she kept on saying over and over again. Humongous what? What's humongous? You know.
He was trying to explain the joke to her, and she was just like
she wasn't getting
refusing to understand.
She was intentionally not getting it.
Humongous. Yeah, humongous what? No. Hugh Mungus. Humongous what? Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. He could have just said, my first name is Hugh.
Yeah.
And just stopped and looked at her like, do you get it yet? You know, but he never did that. And I think he did not do it on purpose. So, whatever. I've seen that video like 10 times, and every time it makes me laugh, because you can read into the you know, between the lines what's going on there. So
you just abused a woman.
You know, just hearing you do it makes me laugh even more. Oh my god. Okay, well, let's move on. We got 15 minutes left in the show, and we haven't even covered the other news topics yet. How are you looking for time tonight? You get out on time?
I mean, if it goes to 8:30, I'll live.
Well, it's another 40 minutes. All right. Well, I'll try to keep it short. And this one's I'm not going to touch too much on this anyway, but there was an interview that I just saw. A news reporter was talking to Elon Musk, who's been making the rounds lately with interviews and such. I've been seeing him on YouTube quite a bit lately. And obviously a biased reporter kind of on Biden's side, probably a Democrat, blah, 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 blah. And she was trying to sell the infrastructure bill to Elon Musk, and he was having absolutely none of it. She was saying like, well, you know, don't you think the government should incentivize, you know, this, that, and the other? And he's like, no, the government should stay out of it, and da-da-da-da. And, you know, the government, you know, if you look at the people, you got to look at the government as just like another corporate entity, was his deal. He says, and if you look at how they run their corporation, how I run my corporation, he says they should have been out of business a long time ago. Like, okay. And she says, well, what about the infrastructure bill? You know, there's going to be, what do you think of that? And he's like, no, we should vote against that. She says, well,
I agree.
There's things in there that would help Tesla. And he's like, yeah, no, don't think you should vote for it. She's like, but they're gonna incentivize putting in more charging stations. He's like, no, we don't need that. We can do it ourselves. He just every time she tried to sell it to him, he was like, nope, 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 nope. Every time she said it, and everything he said rang true. It was hard to disagree with him.
Yeah.
So hey, Sora's out in
I
chat.
think
Hi, Sora.
the less the government does, the better.
Yeah. So I like the comparison between the government being just another corporation. You know, if you look at them as another corporation who runs things, they can't run anything. Everything they do is screwed. Look at the VA. Look at the Postal Service. Nothing works. Get mail lost all the time. I have these paper plates that I like. They're square, and they're kind of hard, pressed cardboard kind of paper plates, so that you can put something on and hold it by the edge, and it doesn't fall apart. That's why you can hold it's square, so it's more stable. And I couldn't get. I ordered them through Amazon, and Amazon delivered them through USPS, and they got lost. I had to go back to Amazon and say, I never got this. What the hell? And they're like, yeah, we'll refund your money. And then I ordered another one.
To me.
Yeah, I ordered another one. Came through FedEx. It was there next day. I was like,
no, because I bought 2 books off Amazon, and they were supposed to be delivered together. I got one, but not the other. So I had to send a message to the vendor saying, yeah, I only got one of the books.
who was the delivery though? Was it FedEx or UPS or what? DHL? What do you guys use in Australia?
Well, I mean, it was Australia Post, I presume. That's the post office, but I don't know. I don't know what they used to send it from. Wherever I think they're in either England or America, but I don't know what service they used to send it from there. But yeah, it just like I went to Amazon and said, yeah, you have to go to the vendor directly. It's like, no. So I went to them and I haven't heard back.
If you buy something on Amazon and it's from Amazon itself, because they host other places on their website that you can buy things from. If you buy something that is from Amazon Prime, I get it with UPS every time. I know the UPS driver. I know him because he's like the only person I've ever met who's significantly taller than me. He's 6'7".
Wow.
He's a tall motherfucker.
Yeah.
And if you order from Amazon and the person selling it through Amazon is not Amazon Prime, if it's an individual company, then it almost always comes USPS because it's cheaper.
Right.
But it gets lost a lot. So I wasn't paying attention. I was like, I'm running short. Let me just get a quick, blah, blah, blah. And I'll just order a bunch. There we go. And then it just never showed up. I had to actually order it through Amazon Prime at a higher cost, but I got it the next day. And I'm still trying to get the money back for it. It used to be really easy. You used to say, never showed up. I want my money back. And that was it. Now it's cancel order.
Yes.
And I was like, wait a minute. And then they say, well, your cancel order has been received. And that's all you get. So I don't, whatever. So yeah, that was the whole deal with Elon Musk, is just that he was shooting down this reporter who was trying to sell him on the Green New Deal and the infrastructure bill. And he was just having none of either one of them. So it was pretty funny to watch.
Good on him.
Yeah. And then finally, I know I said at the beginning of the show, Omnicron, because that's how Biden was pronouncing it. It's Omicron.
Yes. And
I got into a big long thing with this on Twitter today about this. And I found a company called Neogenics who kind of looks at how the virus is working and what we're doing to see if things can be proven or not proven or improved or changed and that kind of stuff. And they came out with a little blurb on television that said, we can handle Omicron. No problem. He says, we'll just take 3 more vaccine shots.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Now combine that with what the UK is doing. UK saying that they're going to promote boosters every 90 days.
That is absurd.
So now you have, and people keep referring to this as a vaccine. I've decided I'm not going to call it a vaccine anymore. I'm just going to call it the COVID drug. But so you basically have 3 more shots to handle Omicron, which is basically about as dangerous as a cold. There's been no deaths, and the cases that have happened have just been, I got a little bit of runny nose. That's it. No threat to the lungs, no myocarditis, none of that stuff. No issues with it at all yet. Yet people are closing borders and creating a drug that's going to take 3 more shots, and they want to do this to you every 90 days now. And I got into a big rile with this. I almost don't want to even talk about it on Twitter because people just insist that you're wrong. Here's the facts. You're wrong. Yeah, but look here. You're wrong. No matter what you say, you're wrong. Even if you show them plain facts. See, he said this. Listen to what he says. He says this. No, that's wrong. Yeah, well, he's an immunologist. You're a drummer on Twitter. What the fuck? Who am I going to listen to? Not that listening to the science makes any sense, but the science is now making this. Before Omicron hit, I had pretty much given up on calling it a vaccine.
Right.
And now they want to do this. This is just a drug. It's just a drug. It's not a vaccine. It's just a drug. That's all
it's therapeutic. It gets rid of the symptoms for a bit.
Well, I mean, understand that it keeps you from dying, or it works good at keeping you from dying. Monoclonal antibodies seem to do pretty good for Rogan. That kept him from dying. So, and he doesn't have to take it every 3 months.
Someone made the case that why not a passport for rapists and murderers? The real worst people in society. Oh yeah, that's a violation of their human rights.
Well, why not? Why aren't we all taking chemotherapy, just in case, to prevent us from getting cancer?
Yeah.
Take your chemo.
That would actually work nicely because I'm legally not allowed to get a haircut, but if I get chemotherapy, I won't need one.
The benefits
so there
of
you
chemotherapy.
go, silver lining.
I don't know. Jen, where are you stand on all this? Do you think it's actually still?
I think it's a Ponzi scheme. Because they're going to go to the next COVID, and then the next COVID, and then the next COVID, and then the next COVID. And it's like, I get you want people to start just taking vaccines and stuff, but that's not how you get people to do stuff.
Jen walks in with a nuclear bomb. It's bullshit.
Like, I don't mind taking responsibility for myself, but like the more that they're like this, like, because they're confusing people who don't know what they're talking about. They really are. Like, it's like talking about getting a vaccine for the flu. Like, there's so many of those. They only do like a couple a year for a reason. And I respect taking those if you're handling, like, if you're working with people who, need that extra care. I get that. But like, I'm sorry, what they're doing with people who just don't want to take the vax or don't feel comfortable with it, like, it's just not right. Like, sorry, it's the stuff that like Aviva said, like, like they're going to stop people in New Brunswick from buying their groceries unless they order it online or they make arrangements to have someone deliver it. Yeah. Like, that's ridiculous to me.
That's crazy tunes there.
Like, that's just wrong in my mind. We are treating people who don't want to get a vaccine like they're a different citizen, and that's not right.
Soros says, Terry, they are thinking about making everyone be vaccinated to be allowed in the hospital. I actually saw a video of a guy outside a hospital in Spain who was not vaccinated, and they wouldn't let him in. So, yeah,
but that's terrifying.
The guy died of a heart attack on their steps.
Yeah, but like that is like really, really scary to think that if you're not vaccinated, they will just
let you die.
Fuck you. Yeah, you can die.
Remember, this is all for your health and safety. The fact that you're dying on the steps of our hospital, that's for your safety and health as you die.
Yeah, I could maybe see the case that if you have COVID, then they're going to be like, okay. I mean, they still have to treat you, but I could understand if they were like, I hate that we have to like let these people get treated, but No, I mean, if it's unrelated to COVID, then they've got no right to refuse you medical care.
He was suffering from a heart attack right there on the steps. His son is giving him CPR. He's doing chest compressions, banging on the window. It was very dramatic. It looked like something out of a movie. But his wife is screaming, wailing while he's there dying, and his son is giving chest compressions, banging on the window, saying he's having a heart attack. Let us in. And their people are inside in their medical gear, their gear for trying to keep the pandemic from spreading. That white medical gear, you know. We're just standing on the other side, maybe 10 feet back from the door, just looking, not making any attempt to move to help.
Did any of them flip him off as he died? Because seems
they just watched him die out in front.
No, but did they like flip him the bird and go, "This is what you get"?
Well,
Because they were like one step short of it.
If they're Democrats, they probably were thinking it. So, well, anyway, I got to 10 o'clock exactly, Jen.
Yay! Sorry, guys. I have such an early morning shift. Like I was okay last week. Today I just normally I take a nap. I like try to do this like restitch of my sleep to take a little nap.
Mm-hmm.
There was no napping. I was just sitting there in my bed going, "This is a waste of my time. There's no sleeping happening." All right, fine, brain. Just play games with me. Also,
I can't sleep in the middle of the day either.
Also, I noticed that Soren and Costin were complaining in the chat about work, and I'm not going to complain about work because all my work complaints are based off of stuff that I can't change because natural disasters are a thing. So all our shipments are coming in clumps. So like some days you'll get a shipment and it's like 14 skids, and you're like, "Yay, this is easy." And then the next time you get a shipment in, it's like 28 skids, and you're like, "Oh dear God, we have to get this done in 4 hours."
Yeah, Cynic's in chat. Hey, Cynic.
Hey, Cynic.
What did I say last week? Welcome to the end of the show.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Green Badger was trying to point out a contradiction in saying so much for healthcare as a human right. There is no contradiction because they don't think of unvaccinated people as human.
Are human, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So to them, there is no contradiction.
Whenever I see this kind of stuff on the internet, I get very scared about that because I'm not trying to defend anybody. I'm going to qualify this. I hate qualifying, and usually I don't do it, but I'm going to qualify this by saying I'm not pro any of this. I'm very much against it, obviously, but I see a lot of people saying, and I mean, maybe even you two have said it. I don't really pay too much attention to it, but I hear people keep saying, well, these pedophiles and zoophiles and stuff like that, we should just put them in wood chippers. And
I've said that as a joke, but not as a serious opinion.
People out there are. I'll give you a hint. People out there are cynical about this, and I try to reply back, and I say, look, it's awful. It's terrible what they're doing. Rapists, all these people are terrible, but they're still humans. For as much as what they're doing is evil, they're still humans doing this, because humans are capable of great evil, and that is the greatest of evil, is doing things like that. But they're still humans. Don't dehumanize them, because that's what happened in Germany to the Jews. That's what allowed them to be done things to, is dehumanizing them first was the first step. Then after that, they could do whatever they wanted to do because they weren't human. That's the same thing happening here. Be careful when you do that. And the same thing with the unvaccinated. You might see them as unhuman from the Democratic side. The progressive side may see them as non-human. But that would be consistent. But doing that is always going to lead to something bad. It's never going to lead to anything good.
See, the only way I stand when it comes to like serial killers and like proven, like say serial rapists, not the one-off guy who was drunk, because I always question those a little bit. Sorry, I just do. But I go with the Russian route, where when you've been proven to be that guy, they just take you out back and shoot you. It's not because I don't want to dehumanize you. It's just that the system holds on to people for so long who honestly, like, I get what you're saying, but like if the guy did something to like 38 people and he's still alive, I'm sorry, that's 38 people that we no longer have because of that asshole, and we're still feeding him.
Or seven,
I would say,
or 7 dead and 60 hurt. Yeah.
I would say you have a lot of like pressure to make sure that you've got the right guy, because you can't unkill someone.
Yes, and I agree with that. Like, you know, proven guilty. You know, I kind of agree with, like, you know, I get that some guilty people go free to make sure that we are not putting innocent people in jail.
Yeah, but for me, like, if they've confessed, then that's different. Like, if they're fully admitting, yes, I was the one that pushed that, you know, that nun off the cliff. Like, okay, well, you aren't. Your innocence is not in question. You 100% admit that you're guilty. Then, okay. I mean, if you want the death penalty, then fine. But it needs to be very, very carefully applied. You don't want to kill innocent people.
The point I made about it was, I said, all right, so you found someone guilty, you put them to death, and then a week later you find new DNA evidence, or that the DNA evidence you had was wrong. The person was alive. Should be alive. You should never have killed him. He should have gone free. So anybody who made it a point to kill him, we should kill them.
Eye for an eye.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you feel about killing somebody when you know that if it's turned around, it could be your life on the line? Now, do you still want to kill them? Most people would say no.
Well, that's why it's like, for me, if they confess, then that's one thing. But if it's just the, you know, preponderance of evidence, or, you know, like beyond reasonable doubt that they did it, I'm not comfortable with killing, because there's been a lot of people who were convicted and then had the convictions overturned.
Yes.
You can release someone from prison. You can't unkill them.
Yeah. It's a permanent solution.
Take into account the cases that I'm thinking about from Russia. They were like hardcore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's also suicide by government too here. You know, someone can say, "Oh, yes, I did it. Yes, I did it. Kill me," and then the DNA evidence clears them later, and you're like, "Oh shit, he wanted to kill himself. We just helped him commit suicide." So even that's not right. So I mean, there's plenty of reasons to talk about it, but I'm gonna let it go because we're getting on. I always wanted to keep the show as an hour, so I'm gonna try to be good about that anyway. So I think we're gonna head out now. But
okie dokie.
Me and Terry will probably talk a little bit while after the show about this kind of stuff, because we always seem to do that. Anyway, all right. Well, like I said, we have a couple people who just showed up late. They're basically going to catch into the show, so feel free to hit the rewind button and start over again from the top. But I want to thank everybody in chat for hanging out with us.
Absolutely.
And if you're looking for more of the zoo, our Discord is linked in the description down below. And we're live every evening with most shows starting at 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Quiz on Monday, Skep on Tuesday. Of course, us every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Johnny Hellcat, his show is on tomorrow at 11:30. Sanguine on Friday. Harry's channel starts off the weekend on Saturday. And Delahazed currently hosting Sundays. I think he's going to have a couple days off coming up pretty soon, so we'll see who brings in for him. I'll talk to you about that, Terry, after the show. Maybe you might take over the show. I'll get a little practice in. In any case, put you on the spot. We'll be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight, and we'll see you next week. Have a great night, everyone.
Have a great night, guys.
Bye, guys.